Tell me the story that we're here to capture. What happened at Boise High?
So my name is Leta Neustaedter, and I am an arts educator and an anti-racism activist and community builder, and also a musician and a performer. Laurel, who is the orchestra instructor at Boise High, wanted to do a concert that was all centered around certain kinds of marginalized communities and just voices that were less represented. The song that I was a part of was At the Purchaser's Option. Rhiannon Giddens had seen in her research an actual listing from an ad selling an enslaved woman.
For sale, a remarkable, smart, healthy Negro wench. About 22 years of age, can do housework and farming. For sale for no fault but want of employee. She has a child about 9 months old, which will be at the purchaser's option.
Okay, please tell us your name.
My name is Caroline DeVitro, and I'm a junior at Boise High.
So the very first rehearsal that we had, I had no idea what to expect, right? Like, I knew that the song wasn't going to be like the recorded version. It would be a different strings arrangement of it. But that's all I knew. So the very first rehearsal, the kids started playing the song, and she had prepared them so well. Like, they knew the music, they knew the notes. So it wasn't about like learning the song. So I immediately became inspired to delve deeper into what the story was and make it something that they could relate to in a way that they could access it. I wanted to make it more visceral with the instruments and the bodies of the musicians playing it. So for example, I had them slap some of the rhythms on their instruments. So they would play certain things and then slap. But then because I wanted that, slap of the, the whips and the, like, as she's walking, like, that is the reality of it, and kind of feeling the slap with their fingers against the instrument and hearing that sound, it brought such a more visceral idea of what that experience would be like, of this walk to the market. Taking a beat to even understand what that feels like, to understand that as this woman was walking to the market to be sold, she literally did not know if she would still be carrying her baby when she left.
I've got a baby child I keep hidden. 'Twill come a day when I'll be weeping. But how can I love him any less? This little babe upon my breast. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, not my soul. You can take my body, take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul.
And then there was a section in the song where there was a lot going on, and the kids felt like, it was about the marketplace. And there's some swirling in the violins and stuff, and they some of them heard like wailing. And just imagining being in this market where human beings are being sold and carted away to never see their relatives again, and what different sounds you might hear if you were in that market. And the violins, and the strings do these, ooh, and it just felt like these sighs. And one of the, I think he was a cello player or bass. I remember at one point he said he felt like on his instrument, it felt like it reminded him of coins, of like the coins being exchanged for purchase, And that was such a powerful moment because he was putting himself into the position of, I'm one of the bad guys here. Voluntarily, you know, but he was just like, I feel like that's where I see my part. And being willing to participate in that, right? Like creating this experience where some of us put ourselves into that position of being somebody who's causing harm to somebody else. And it doesn't have to necessarily be because we're evil. Maybe it's because we don't know better or we're not being thoughtful or whatever, but recognizing like that's the role I think I play in this reenactment. That's what my instrument plays. And if I have like feelings about that, I'm going to put that into how I'm playing it. But that was real, you know?
You can take my body, you can take my soul, you can take my blood, my bones, take my body.
Let's add stomping of the feet and slapping of the instruments. And if you pluck and you feel like your pluck has to do with something that was harmful to somebody, then put that into the way you pluck so that there's an emotional connection to the music we're creating. So it wasn't like trying to hammer into the students something that they should feel bad about it, but it was trying to make it seem like, you know, this song is about somebody that they might be a relative of mine for all I know.
Before this concert that we did, I definitely looked at my music from an objective point of view, from the technicalities of it, and I didn't think about it emotionally, if that makes sense. And this concert really, it had a huge impact on me, and I try and connect a lot more with my music now.
When you are in school reading out of the textbook and learning just page by page, you don't really get the feeling of it really. You don't get the energy. You're just reading what happened, but when you're listening and you're actually connecting with the music and with the art, you really get a feeling because music sends out a message, it sends out emotion.
Oh man, describing emotions is difficult.
It is.
It's so, I could get a thesaurus and I could just start reading words, but it hit me, and I mean it.
The arts are a place to make those emotional connections and not just be discussing certain issues on an intellectual level, like learning these facts, learning this is what happened with slavery, or these are so-and-so's rights who've been being violated, but understanding empathetically, what is the story? Why does this matter? Why does this matter now? Even if it's something that seems like maybe it happened a long time ago, making those kind of emotional connections, because that's what we do in the arts.
I think as an educator, I really learned how important it is to really saturate yourself in the story of the music and the history of it. Not be afraid of the vulnerability required in talking about hard things and making music around hard things. And I feel like I've intellectually understood that, but in this project was able to really even feel it more deeply in myself and witness it in my students as well.
I got a body dark and strong. I was a woman, not for long. You took me to bed, a little girl. Left me in a woman's world.
I knew when we were gonna do this piece, I just knew that I was not in a position to pretend like I could actually represent all of this. And so I would just encourage other educators to not be shy about diving into these issues, because it creates a lot of growth and beauty for everyone.
It was interesting, the whole process between getting to know the background and really what we're playing for, why we're playing it, how to play it in a way that isn't disrespectful or performative and that is genuine. I think it really connected all of us as an orchestra and also to the outside world and to bigger things, and understanding how the bigger things in the outside world and the big changes there start here and really start in this space.
This music it's meant to draw images, it's meant to ignite these pictures in your mind that kind of stay with you and they kind of haunt you in a way. And I think that emotion is a lot more potent than in most of the other music I've played.
You know, more than just the old dead white guys. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
We need to definitely broaden our view a little bit more.
You know, a lot of the reasons why there's so much pushback about even being able to have honest conversations about race is this whole idea about not feeling anything. You know, nobody wants anybody to feel guilty. Nobody wants anybody to feel sad, you know, and for one thing, I'm just not sure why that is, because that's not preparing people for life, because we have feelings in life. And protecting people from ever feeling bad about something that happened is also protecting them from learning and growing. Because that's often how we learn and we grow. Like something happens and we have an emotional response. And if that emotional response happens to be feeling bad about it, or feeling guilt about it, or feeling remorse, then that's often what prompts us to do something different. When we're teaching very young kids to have empathy, we don't tell them like, oh, don't feel bad that you just smacked your sister with a, you know, piece of plywood. I don't want you to feel guilty about that. No, of course, you're like, look what you just did. You hurt her. Like, you need to apologize. We know that that's how this works, but somehow with race and where our country is right now, we've, you know, kind of gone counter to what we even know about human nature and decided that this whole nobody should feel bad and nobody should feel guilty is going to somehow protect our society from what? Luckily, Laurel and I were on the same page about that, you know, that it was about, let's lean into discomfort. Not because we're trying to make people uncomfortable, but because we are trying to have authentic, real conversations, and some of the byproduct of that might be discomfort. But we're not going to hide from the discomfort. What we're going to do is we're going to hang in there together with each other and work through it. If this makes you feel uncomfortable or feel sad or feel pangs of guilt, what could we do about that? How could you express that? How could we put that into the art that we're creating right now? How could you take that with you out into the world?
I feel like it really helped us connect because, I mean, for example, if you look at our orchestra, there's not a lot of people who can really relate to that.
I just think that it was really cool. It was really unique, especially to be in like Idaho and to have, even though like we're in the most progressive like little pocket, kids will learn, kids will grasp onto it if you give it to them.
Seeing a more, I guess, inner view on what that was really like, rather than just what we're taught in school, because there is such a block on what we're taught in school. And they're trying to enforce that more and really minimize what we're learning. So I feel like just having you in class and helping us with that really helped all of us get a more, I guess, realistic picture of what it was like, rather than what's painted for us in books.
Mm-hmm. Day by day I work the line, every minute overtime. Fingers nimble, fingers quick. My fingers bleed to make you rich.
It's hard to get my brain working at school, paradoxically. I know school is all about brains actually thinking about issues meaningfully, but it really takes an artistic project to kind of stab through that layer of bleh, I'm at school, that I kind of put around myself.
We kind of all just felt a certain energy, and it just felt very constructive.
How important it is to bring awareness to learning through art, almost, and teaching through art and sending out messages through art.
So really I'm just actually thinking about an issue in a critical, meaningful way, which is excellent because art got it there.
Kids are like, we don't need you to protect us from this. You know, this is real life. Like, we're in it. We want to learn. Stop shielding us from stuff. You know, we're in this world that can feel like really out of control and crazy. And if we don't understand how we got here and where did we go wrong historically, like, how are we supposed to fix it? And that's the opposite of shutting them down or harming them with the guilt that they felt because it was heavy. It opened them up, it fired them up, it inspired them to want to be more engaged with music in the future.
It wasn't just a process that would take energy from you, but it was a process that had the potential to empower you as well.
It kind of was pivotal for me because I'm looking to play in a symphony in college, but it's just kind of your basic symphony that's just playing, you know, all the old favorite things that you hear all across the world. I think it kind of set me off on a little bit different tangent from where I'm at right now and kind of the direction that I want to go with it.
This is the power of the arts. And this is what happens when you have honest, real, vulnerable conversations. I wanted them to feel something that they could connect to and share in the music.
I think the biggest thing is just how much that's helped us connect.
It was very connective.
The amount of tears we all experienced that connected us together, and the amount of gratitude I felt because it was just raw and vulnerable.
You really get that emotion and you can feel it closer to home rather than just retaining information.
When something actually sits in your heart, like what learning through music can do.
Being like really musically connected to what I was playing, and really intentional with what I was playing.
It sparked something in me that wants to do something different. We're all trying to achieve the same thing and accomplish the same goal.
I hope that we can do something like this again soon, because like music that makes us actually stop and think is what matters, and that's the whole point of us playing music.
I already had the spark. This project just taught me how to do it.
That's beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Did you? Thank you.
You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul.